What name is guy? Itauma. Moses Itauma. I think he's a great fighter. The young, 20 years, yeah?
And that's why you got to watch it and find out. But one thing I will say about Moses is he's a very good fighter, good little boxer, good puncher, and a lovely kid as well. It's like a sponge.
Why are you taking this fight? Because this kid is on fire right now. And he's getting better and better. It's not like he's going backwards, he's going forward.
Fighters speak about how dangerous Moses Itauma is in the ring. Tyson Fury praises the 20-year-old for his power, focus, and discipline. He says Moses listens well, learns fast, and punches with real force. Taking on someone like Dillian Whyte at such a young age shows his confidence and skill. Many believe Moses isn't just promising, but truly dangerous, and
That's a good fight, actually, especially for Moses. I think it's a very good time to fight Dillian. He's had a couple of years out the ring. But, make no mistakes, Dillian Whyte is a massive puncher. It's a head and body. I know he's taking it very serious. I'm speaking to Ty Mitchell, who's in training camp with him. And looking forward to the fight. It's a big step up for Moses because he hasn't really fought anybody on Dillian's level. The old Dillian, it was a couple of years ago. And it's going to be interesting to see how much that Dillian Whyte has left. And could this be potential? I think it does have the potential to do what Martin McCauley did to Jared Anderson. Maybe it's too early, or maybe he passes with flying colours. And that's why you got to watch it and find out. But one thing I will say about Moses is he's a very good fighter, good little boxer, good puncher, and a lovely kid as well. It's like a sponge. You tell him something, he absorbs it and he listens. And that's the great thing about the young kids who's coming up. And he's only 20 years old. I told him a few years ago, forget about breaking records, take your time, you've only got one career, and just enjoy it because I remember when I was 19, 20, and now 36 has gone like that, very quick.
Alexander Usyk, one of the most skilled boxers of this generation, has openly praised Moses Itauma. In a recent interview, Usyk called him a great young fighter and highlighted his strength and maturity in the ring. Praise from a champion like Usyk, who has beaten the best in the world, carries real weight. Impressing someone of his level at just 20 years old proves Moses is no ordinary talent. Usyk's words point not only to Moses's raw power.
What name is guy? Itauma. Moses Itauma. I think he's a great fighter. The young, 20 years, yeah?
20.
Yeah, 20 years. I think Itauma have big future.
Moses Itauma's coach revealed an interesting trait about the young heavyweight, his passion for boxing history. Like Mike Tyson, Moses studies the legends who came before him. He doesn't just watch their fight footage, he reads about their lives, struggles, techniques, and how they built their legacies. This mindset sets him apart from most young fighters who only focus on present-day rivals. His drive to understand the roots of boxing shows how serious...
I think probably the biggest comparison I would say is how Mike Tyson loved the game, would always study fighters of the past, etc. Moses has that same love for it.
Does he?
Yeah, like we'll send him his sparring at 2 a.m. He'll be texting us clips like, is this more what you want?
He's a student.
Yeah, he absolutely loves it. And that's that, along with his maturity at his age.
Very composed, isn't he? Very composed. Yeah.
That is what is allowing him to achieve what he's achieving at such a young age.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of talented fighters out there, but not many that
can execute it on the back of it, yeah.
It's no shock that people are comparing Moses Itauma to a young Mike Tyson. With his aggressive style, powerful short punches, and mature presence in the ring, many believe he could become a world champion before 21. That would be a huge achievement, as it's rare for fighters so young to face the top level. His strength, speed, and confidence bring back memories of Tyson's early days, when he quickly knocked out opponents. Despite the pressure of these comparisons, Moses stayed.
Is Moses Itauma being babied? Jared Anderson had better opposition in his first 12 fights than Moses Itauma. Guaranteed without a doubt. Guaranteed without a doubt. He had better opposition. But Jared gets criticized. And, here we have a guy like Moses being called potentially the next Mike Tyson. They believe he can win a world title under 21 years old.
Moses Itauma didn't get this good overnight. At only 18, People saw how skilled and polished he already was. With hundreds of amateur fights, he built experience that shaped him into a calm and smart boxer. His footwork, defense, and crisp combinations proved he was ready for the pro stage long before turning professional. That early dedication laid a strong foundation, making his current rise look effortless. While most fighters take years...
So young, to be as athletic as he is, look as polished as he is. Bear in mind, I interviewed Moses Itauma before his pro debut, and one of the questions I really wanted to ask him was how many amateur fights he'd had. For someone who looked so polished, I was turning pro so young. Bear in mind, he'd only just turned 18 at the time. Right, this is 2 years ago, nearly 3 years ago now. I really wanted to know how many amateur fights he had to look as polished as he did. And in that interview, he told me it was something like 22, 23 amateur fights, which is really, it's quite a low amount. It was a bit of a kind of land when he said it. I remember at the time thinking, huh? And then obviously you're interviewing, so you want to try and get the next question. You don't want to be just stopped in your tracks. But it genuinely nearly did stop me in my tracks, given how polished he looked and how good he looked. You know, I was thinking, yikes, that's actually a bit of a strange one for someone to look that polished in such short of a time. And he's obviously been fighting good amateurs, and obviously he's not one of these amateurs like Anthony Yarde, no offense, who had 10 amateur fight against low level, probably wasn't doing a great deal of sparring, but just had that natural ability. All right, just had it.
Veteran heavyweight Derek Chisora questioned Dillian Whyte's decision to fight Moses Itauma. He pointed out that while Dillian hasn't been active, Moses has been improving and evolving with every training camp. At just 20, Moses is gaining momentum and sharpening his style daily. Coming back after a layoff, Dillian might underestimate him, but Chisora warned that Moses's age is deceiving. His power, style, and hunger give him a big edge. His concern wasn't just about Dillian's readiness, but how...
I had a phone call a couple of weeks ago. They offered me to fight Moses Itauma in Saudi. You know, I said, how much? He said, 2 million. I said, nah, I'm out. I even phoned Dylan. I was like, Dylan, I don't know why you're taking this fight, you know, because this kid is on fire right now. And he's getting better and better. It's not like he's going backwards, he's going forward.
One of the reasons he is taking it is that Moses is WBO #1 at the moment, so that there's some kind of light at the end of the tunnel for Dillian taking that fight.
Ain't no light at the end of that tunnel.
I agree with you. I think I don't think Dillian gets beyond 4 or 5 rounds.
You're crazy. Yeah. There's no light in that tunnel. That kid is, no, you mad. No way. Even Lawrence Okoli said Moses is bad.
As talks for a fight between Moses Itauma and Dillian Whyte heat up, the boxing world is divided. Some believe Moses is the top young heavyweight right now, while others think Dillian is too tough a challenge this early. Dillian has faced elite opponents and brings veteran experience Moses hasn't yet earned. But Moses has youth, speed, and sharp skills on his side. Many see this as the ultimate test for both. For Dillian,
can he still use them? It's a common opinion that Moses is a great prospect. He's got all the talent in the world, but as a professional, he's untested. I think Dylan sees this as a perfect opportunity to shut the hype train on Itauma, beat this young prospect who everyone's shouting about and get the light back on him. But the problem is, if he loses, he's got nowhere to go. It's game over. But this is boxing, high risk, high reward, or scrambling at the bottom of the heap. We know that Moses wanted to beat Mike Tyson's record in becoming the youngest heavyweight champion of the world, but he's missed that now. So we know he wants to move fast and test himself. He's reaching for greatness, but as the saying goes, you can't put an old head on young shoulders. So maybe he's biting off more than he can chew. From his point of view, beating a veteran like Dillian Whyte will give him credibility. Put him in the mix with the top guys. I'm definitely a fan of Moses. He's got the skill, the talent, the work ethic, and the mindset. The only thing he lacks is experience. And I suppose the only way to get it is to fight these guys. In the fight business, you've got to have thick skin because there's always going to be doubters. It's part of the game. Personally, I don't see the rush. There's so many good fights, even at domestic level. He's only 20. I just feel he's got time on his side. He needs time to mature. Heavyweight heavyweights don't mature till late 20s. I just see so much value going the traditional route. English, British, Commonwealth, European, then world honours. In my opinion, it's so important. That's your apprenticeship. Gradually learning the game, gaining experience, and each time you pass the test, you step up. This type of progression builds the foundations. There's a reason why the greats...
Boxing analyst Spencer Oliver says fans have only seen a glimpse of how good Moses Itauma really is. With Dillian Whyte lined up as a possible opponent, Oliver calls this Moses' biggest test yet. How he handles such an experienced power puncher will reveal how complete he truly is. Oliver believes Moses has the tools, but Dillian will push him in ways he's never faced before. Facing Dillian isn't just risky, it's a huge opportunity. While most fighters take time to build their records, Moses is fast-tracking his rise. Fans are already backing him, hoping he beats Dillian and...
Oh, it's a massive step up, but every time the kid steps up, look, we're talking about someone here who I believe is a super talent, not if he wins a world heavyweight title, but when he wins a world heavyweight title. And fortunately for Moses Itauma, he has the right man behind him in Frank Warren, because he knows how to guide the careers and take the right fights at the right time. And they feel that this is the right timing now for Dillian Whyte, who's not looked particularly good in his last couple of fights, but we know that he's heavy-handed and we know that he'll come and give it everything, because he knows it's last chance saloon for him. He needs the victory here. So, look, we find out just how good Moses Itauma is, I think, on the 16th of August when he boxes Dillian Whyte, because I think he wins it and wins it in style. But everyone they put in front of him so far is just dismantled. I think this kid's going to go on and win a world title, and it could be as soon as 12 months.
Moses Itauma will face Dillian Whyte in Saudi Arabia on the 16th of August. Now, I must say this, guys, I am pleasantly surprised about this. I did not expect this fight to happen right now. Now, when Dillian Whyte pulled out of the Ipswich card, I was thinking maybe he's going to fight someone like Joseph Parker or Lawrence Okoli, because they've had some beef going on. And then with Moses Itauma, after his last fight where he destroyed Mike Balogun, I thought that, you know, he needed some learning fights. He needed fights where people or his opponent is going to give him something to think about. But I did not expect that to be Dillian Whyte. And I'm going to say here first, Moses Itauma is absolutely going to destroy Dillian Whyte.
Stories like this prove Moses Itauma is cut from a different cloth. His coach shared that even in 15-degree freezing weather, Moses never missed a run. He kept up his tough 1,000-meter hill runs without hesitation. This mindset is what separates future champions from ordinary contenders. While others take breaks, Moses works harder. That level of obsession and discipline makes analysts and veterans believe he's destined for greatness.
I think this was Christmas Eve or something like that. At the time, I didn't have my running shoes. I wore my uncle's trainers, and I didn't really have no running clothes, and I wore his work clothes. Yeah, it's quite hard because it's also like 1,000 meter altitude, which makes it even harder with the snow, the altitude. And I actually slipped on this run as well because it's icy.
It's very honest of you to say. And what temperature would you say this was?
I think it was like -15.
Boxing analysts are full of praise for Moses Itauma. They say he's not just talented, he's the next big British boxing star. At only 20, he's already gone beyond expectations. His speed, control, and mental focus are better than what most fighters have even in their late 20s. Experts agree he has everything needed to become a world champion soon. What's most impressive is his maturity and composure at such a young age. These predictions aren't hype.
He'll get to where he's going to get to. All of those guys are their own characters. Moses was recently presenting an award at the Mobo Awards. I think the PR stuff is really coming on very well. We've got to remember he is just 20 years old. What was Anthony Joshua doing at 20 years old? You know, what was Tyson Fury doing at 20 years old? I don't think he was necessarily holding court at presses like that or going on Graham Norton. This is a young man with a long career. He's going to win a lot of belts and he's going to make a lot of noise, and I think he's doing brilliantly.
When asked about the chance to face Alexander Usyk one day, Moses Itauma didn't hold back. He said it would be a massive opportunity for both his career and finances. At the same time, he gave Usyk full respect, calling him a great fighter.
Why would Usyk take that fight? That's obviously my first thought. But, I mean, if the fight was to present itself and that was like, right, you're fighting Usyk in May, I'm like, yeah, I'm taking it 100%. There's no loss in that. Do you get what I mean? I would take that fight 100%. But I just think, like, why would Usyk do that? Why would he? I mean, the money... He's made plenty of money.
What happens if you and Alexander Usyk sharing in December, let's say?
What do you think?
I'm asking you.
No. I know my answer, but what do you think?
I think it's a hell of a fight.
You gone commercial, you gone generic.
Moses Itauma has made it clear he wants to build his name by taking on strong British opponents. He mentioned Solomon Dacres as one of the fighters on his hit list. Moses believes facing local rivals will help him climb faster and earn respect at home before stepping onto the global stage. He's not after easy wins. He wants real tests.
Me and my team, we mentioned a few names. Obviously, we've got like Justice Hooney, Dempsey McKean, Simon Keane, Tom Schwartz. But I feel like it's going to be nice to get a British fight under my belt. So I feel like I'm looking for the winner of Solomon Dacres and David Adley, Fraser Clark. Johnny Fisher did really impress me the weekend. I did not think that he was going to do that against
Alan
Babbage. And I feel like now he's someone to be taken serious. I don't think he's just like a ticket seller for Eddie Hearn. I actually do believe that he's a man to be taken serious now. So even that's a potential fight for me.
Joseph Parker's trainer has acknowledged Moses Itauma's rise, calling him the future of boxing. He said a fight between Parker and Moses would be exciting and important for Moses's career. Such a matchup could be a gateway to a world title. Facing Parker, who has competed at the highest level, would give Moses the chance to prove he belongs among the elite. The trainer
opponent Dillian Whyte, but if Moses Itauma is as good as we all think he is, he wins the fight, and he wins it in fashion.
Yeah, Moses Itauma, it's almost like they're picking opponents for him already. One of the opponents that has been at least earmarked for Moses this year maybe is Joseph Parker. Let's hear from Joseph Parker's manager and trainer, Andy Lee. This is what he had to say about a potential Joseph Parker versus Moses Itauma showdown.
For me, Moses is the future of the heavyweight division. For Moses, it's a risky fight. For Joe, it's a risky fight because there's no upside to beat Moses for Joe. There is. He's building his name. He's a significant heavyweight now, Moses, but he's an up and coming guy. And Joe's already at the top, so there's a risk for Joe. But there's a risk for Moses that he fights Joe, and there's never the same again coming back from it. You know, if Joe has his way and if we have a way, but it's a risky fight for both men, and it's an exciting fight. Maybe it's for the vacant title. It would be worth it. It'd have to be worth it. You know what I mean? So, but there's who's out there? Anthony Joshua. That's an interesting fight, but does it happen? I don't think so. I don't know. I just think Joe has become a dangerous fighter for anyone to be in the ring with now.
Legendary trainer Teddy Atlas shared a balanced opinion on Moses Itauma. While he sees huge potential, he also gave honest advice. Moses must keep fighting top-tier opponents and continue refining his skills. Atlas stressed that raw power isn't enough.
On that's not going to happen now. So concentrate on his career. Concentrate on what you're doing, forming him, developing him as the best fighter he can be. Not just a puncher, but a complete fighter. Not just a meteor across the sky that's streaking right now, but a planet. Someone with staying power, someone that can have longevity, with substance, and that comes with experience. That comes with fighting better guys. It's time to start now. You got everyone's attention. Now you got to start fighting the kind of guys that will make you that planet. That when your day comes, when the moment comes, and it's coming, but when it comes, you'll be ready. So you got to start answering questions now. The most important questions are for the fighter himself. Can he depend on himself? Do I belong? When I get to that next level, can I feel sure that I belong, that I'm ready, that I can sniff that rarefied air and I won't faint from it? You know, that's a big part of developing a fighter, that the fighter knows that they can depend on themselves, that they're ready for the moments that are coming. And that only comes from fighting increasingly better. You do it the right way. You do it properly. You don't do it in a rush. You don't do it where you make mistakes. But you gradually increase the competition with durable guys.